Hello, this is Mo at Transmitter Solutions. Today we're going to be covering the PAL UHF, and pretty much we're going to be giving you guys the out-of-the-box experience. We're going to be wiring up the PAL, and we're going to be setting it up in the software so we can show you guys exactly how to get from the beginning all the way to the end. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start taking things apart here. So when it comes to the PAL UHF, pretty much we're going to get two wires so that we can go ahead and connect these from the PAL over to our reader. We're going to get the reader and then the PAL itself. So let's start with the wires. First, I'm just going to go ahead and start taking those apart. Okay, that's one. Let's get the other one out. Okay, and that's two. So these wires aren't anything too special. As you guys can see, they're pretty much just coax on this side. I'm not sure what this side is, but it looks like coax. And then we just have two connectors here. Just take off these rubber protectors, and then we're going to go ahead and mount that on there. So let's start with this side first. It doesn't matter which wire goes where. Just go ahead and slap them on. Let's go ahead and get that done here. Okay. And so for our PAL, I went ahead and already did some of the work for us here. So I put our power cable here, and I did connect a PAL relay to it. Any PAL device, it's always a good idea to put a power relay on there just because you never know what might happen. Surges, electrical, or anything like that. It's always cheaper to replace a power relay than it is to replace a whole PAL. If you guys did want to know how to go ahead and wire up the PAL to the relay, I'll show you guys that right now. So pretty much I had already wired mine up, but if this is how you guys were going to do it, just pause this right here. You guys will be able to see that right here you guys have pretty much the power relay. Over here you have your PAL, and then over here you have the power supply for it. So it's pretty simple. You just got to follow that schematic. There is a jumper pretty much right here, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you do get that jumper in there when you're connecting the power relay. It is very important to have that there. Other than that, you guys are pretty much going to be using whatever normally open or common, or normally open, common and normally closed. You guys are going to be connecting that to the power relay itself. So go ahead and just make sure you connect that to the power relay, not the PAL itself. You guys should be good from there. So let's keep going. To go ahead and then go ahead and get these connected, it's not too difficult, right? You just want to go ahead and take your leads, and then you're just going to go ahead and slap them on there, get those connected real good. There's no particular order as to how they need to go in there, right? The PAL just knows and understands it. As long as you get them connected on there, that's all that matters. So just go ahead and get them connected on there like that, and then that should be good. So let's go ahead and get this powered up. So if you guys haven't seen this powered up and what it's supposed to look like, I'll show you guys that right now. Okay, so those beeps are good. That means that our reader is live. And so if you guys haven't worked with our PAL systems yet, this is just pretty much a regular cellular PAL, but it's then also has the RFID part added to it. So if you guys know the cellular part about it, it's just going to blink when it does not have signal or when it's looking for a signal. And then when the lights go solid, that means it's found that network. So there we go. It's found that network now. So let's go ahead and jump over to the software side of things, that you guys know how to go ahead and program those tags in there. So let me show you guys that right now. Okay, so to get started on the portal, the first thing we want to do is go over to portal.pal-es.com and sign in. And then from there, once you're signed in, you just want to go over here to devices on the left, and then you're going to go ahead and hit this blue plus sign over here. and we're going to go ahead and enter our PAL information in. So you can always find that information right there on the back on the side of the box, and it's going to tell you what your PAL information is going to be. Or you can always find that on the back of the PAL itself. Those are two good sources to find out what your PAL serial number and code is. So I'll go ahead and plop those in here right now. Okay, there we go. And so for me, I'm going to go ahead and pick just like a totally random address. So let's say I click on there. And so sometimes, like let's say this is a legit address, it'll go ahead and give me a suggestion right below it if that is the right address. So if it gives you a suggestion, even if it's slightly wrong, make sure to click that suggestion. Otherwise, you won't be able to move forward. So then we can give this whatever name we want. So I'll call it Rfid. You don't need to worry about where it says outputs. So go ahead and save there. And we can see that our device is now online. And let's go ahead and add an RFID tag in here. So we're going to go over to users on the right. I'm going to hit our blue plus sign with the person. And for this person, I'm not going to give them a phone number because it's just a test, so they're not going to be using the app. But they can use the app. The RFID PAL can be triggered with the app. And so let's go ahead and put just whatever name here. And we're going to put our RFID tag right there. Pretty much, I'm going to be using a card for this one. So I'm just going to be putting that number in there. And so let's go ahead and toss that there. And once we put that in there, we just want to go ahead and go to the bottom, hit no phone number, and then hit save. If you did want to go ahead and let them use the app, you would just put their phone number in here. Then you would go ahead and then give them whatever name and then hit save. So now that we got our user in there, we can see here that nothing has been read so far. And something really important about the RFID tag before we try it out is going to be our settings over here. So output when delay, that is saying how much of a delay do you want there to be before the relay activates, right? So that one is just how long before the relay activates. Now over here in RFID, always go ahead and enable this. By default it is disabled, but it's a good idea to always enable this. So by default, anytime you're using the PAL, the PAL RFID, when you scan your tag, it won't let you scan it again for about 30 seconds as it shows here. But if you want to adjust that, we can go ahead and do that. So if we want to adjust it, we don't want it. So it'll be like scan my tag, it'll beep, 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 it'll keep going through the log, but the relay won't activate for another 30 seconds. So if we want to make that shorter or longer, we can do that here. So let's go ahead and enable this feature. And then I can shrink this down to a minimum of 5 seconds. Or we can go ahead and maximize it to 600 seconds. So it won't read the same tag until 600 seconds go by. Now, I'm going to put that to 5 seconds just for testing purposes here. But pretty much what that means is that, let's say I'm in the front of the line, I'm there, and it's taking me a second. It won't read my tag until that designated time goes by. But let's say that I go and I read my tag, I go through, I'm at 15 seconds, and the next person behind me goes up. They have a different tag, so it's just going to read theirs right away and open right away. So if it's a new tag, it'll read it right away. If it's the same tag, it'll wait that time we specified. Now, let's say you're not getting the correct amount of distance for your PAL RFID that you want. You can maximize the power a little bit more here. So you can maximize that to 19. It'll help it read further. Now, PAL RFIDs can use 12 or 24 volts. If you want to get the most out of it, I would recommend running 24 volts, but make sure you have stable voltage. You can run PALs off gate operators. A lot of our installers do, but you won't get stable voltage. So if you're going to be running 24 volts, make sure that you are running off something more stable than a gate operator. And so let's say you're getting too much range, right? You can always shrink that down to, so these numbers right here, you see 17, 19, what does that mean in feet, right? So it's not an exact measurement, so you're gonna have to play around with it. So if I move it up by 1, do I get 1 foot? Not exactly. So it's something you're gonna have to play around with. It will give you more range. The more you increase it, the more you decrease it, it will give you less range. So I'll set that to 5 seconds and we'll hit save. And now let's go ahead and I'll show you guys over here pretty much what that's gonna look like. So you guys should be able to see my PAL right now, and you guys should be able to see the relay as well. So this is pretty much what it's gonna look like if you set it to the lowest, which I did for 5 seconds. And so let's go ahead and do this here. So it read it 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. There we go. So you guys can see it's reading it, didn't do anything, it's reading it. Oh, there it goes. So like I'm showing you guys, you have to wait that time, but if it's a totally new card, it'll just activate right away. And so that's going to go ahead and cover the PAL UHF for you guys. So if you guys do have any questions, definitely go ahead and comment that down below. If you guys want to see any other products that you guys are excited for, definitely let us know, and we'll be working on that for you guys. But on to the next one. Peace.